Hi, this is Brian Pash, and I have some breaking news for the automotive industry. April 23rd at 11 a.m., Cox Automotive announced the full 100% acquisition of Fullpath, and I'm so excited for both companies. But what does this mean for auto dealers? There's an official press release which speaks in glowing terms of Fullpath. Let me read just an excerpt. Fullpath having the most advanced AI and data platform, enabling dealers to unify their data, true, automate their marketing, true, and deliver personalized customer experience at scale. That's true as well. So before I give you my opinion, let me just say congratulations to Aharon Horowitz and the entire Fullpath team. Month after month, in the last few years, you've been accelerating, adding new features, providing more transparency and control for dealers, and this is fantastic news. Now, what about the acquisition? I haven't been able to talk to Aharon directly or the folks at Cox because this is still in a regulatory approval process. Over the next 30 days, this deal should get done. But it's quite interesting to see how this acquisition played out. You know, when I first started talking about CDPs, Fullpath, formerly called Auto Lead Star, was really building a turnkey, dealer engaging marketing automation platform. But they saw the writing on the wall and they needed to address that. They saw the need for a centralized, clean data source to run marketing campaigns, and eventually added and morphed that product into a CDP and a marketing activation platform, or what we might call an MAP. But they just didn't stop there. They saw that they were controlling the cadence of communication via text, email, marketing. They said, why don't we wrap the entire customer experience with a CRM? And that's what they announced at NADA. Well, that surely caught Cox's attention because this company is truly a juggernaut and really growing at scale. Why do people like Fullpath? Well, I think it's the transparency in data access, the ease at which they can create and configure audiences, the speed at which they can take those audiences and deploy marketing, and then measure the ROI of those marketing campaigns. Now, Cox for years has had digital marketing campaigns, but I think Fullpath provided better transparency, more hands-on tools, and more insights that dealers could get by exploring their data. This could be one reason Cox was interested. They've also really expanded the number of channels in which dealers can activate their marketing audiences on demand without the need for a third-party ad associate. So maybe dealers are getting smarter, better trained to run and co-manage marketing. That could be another reason that Cox was interested in Fullpath. Cox has talked about their own internal CDP, but they never really surfaced a CDP that a dealer could control, dive into, and build maybe even additional data models with. But Fullpath does. So I'm wondering if the build versus buy, speed to market finally said to Cox, hey, by the time we make a dealer-facing product that allows data hygiene, audience activation at scale, and a more open ecosystem, we may lose the market. Who might they lose that market to? Well, a competing platform, Pure Cars, who recently, meaning a few years ago, acquired the Auto Miner for the CDP and data activation piece. Pure Cars was a marketing activation leader and being approved in so many digital marketing OEM programs. Pure Cars is truly a giant in digital marketing. And then just recently this month, they announced the acquisition of Auto Alert, which gives them proven expertise, scaled staff, field support for specialized marketing campaigns that are OEM approved, OEM formatted, and effective in the areas that Auto Alert had perfected over the last 10 plus years. I'm sure Cox hasn't missed out on the growth of Pure Cars through decision to add AutoMiner, the decision to add Auto Alert. Maybe the stakes were getting a little too hot, although these deals don't happen overnight. It's going to be interesting to see how Cox integrates Fullpath to their existing marketing automation services through dealer.com, which are powered by Fluency, compared to the marketing activation campaigns managed and controlled by Fullpath. So it'll be very interesting to see how this all plays out. There wasn't any details for now. I think everyone's going to say there's no immediate changes in the future. We know that's just common corporate speak to say we really don't know how we're going to do all the integration and how that's going to impact the business, but we think it's going to be great. So at the Digital Marketing Strategies Conference, which is just 3 days away, we're going to be talking about this. There's been a number of M&A activities that impact digital marketing and the customer marketing life cycle. I mentioned Pure Cars. Now we have Fullpath. We also had an announcement this week that Call Review acquired 100% of the assets of Call Drip, which again is a very unique lead follow-up, lead engagement, and sales tool that has phenomenal results, which means Call Review is getting a little bit more into the customer outreach and marketing activation sales process. And we have another announcement coming just at DMSC. There's a lot of news. So if you're a digital marketing professional, if you're a dealer who's investing a lot in digital marketing, there's a few tickets left for DMSC. I encourage you to book your team. Get down to Scottsdale, Arizona. It starts Sunday morning and runs all day Monday, half day on Tuesday. That's the Digital Marketing Strategies Conference. You can get tickets at digitalmarketingstrategies.org. I am looking forward to see how Fullpath's innovation in CDP, MAP, and interest in building a world-class CRM impacts the current products or product investments that Cox is making. Now, for years, Cox has bought products and really hasn't done an accelerated integration. And we know that for some of you who have seen great acquisitions. Cox has made some of the smartest acquisitions in the auto industry. Their acquisition of vAuto has paid them back 50-fold. Their investment in Vin Solutions, 50 or 100-fold. But the question is, how will Fullpath change the product direction, scope, and future endpoint for the Cox Automotive ecosystem? Maybe we'll get some insights at the Modern Retailing Conference in November. They'll have a few months to absorb. But this is a big announcement. Customers of Fullpath should see no change in customer support or activation or innovation at this point. So it's wait and see until this deal closes, most likely in June, and then hopefully we'll get some additional clarity. That's all for now. I'll see you this weekend in Scottsdale at DMSC 2026.